I did have one weird occurrence, right? Once after a gig, so I did a show. In the show, I talked about coming over here as a student. And after the show, I go to the bar when this huge guy wearing like a Jim Beam jacket just comes up to me. And I'm like, well, this should be a good intellectual chat. Like, hang on there, champ. Let me pull up my Thesaurus app so I can keep up with you. I was calling 000. He comes up to me and he goes, you know what, mate? You're all right. I like you. You're one of the good ones. He goes, yeah, look, normally I'm not into comedy, but my wife dragged me out tonight. I wasn't expecting to have a good time, but you were good. Well done. And I felt so guilty, right? He was trying to compliment me, and I just assumed he was trying to be racist. And I realized I judged him based on how he looked, and I have my own prejudice, and I felt so shitty and guilty. But then he goes, oh, you know, plus you came here as a student. You're not one of them queue-jumping boat people. There it is, right, great. Because you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can judge a racist by a Jim Beam jacket, right? I felt really uncomfortable when he made that comparison with me and a refugee, because I felt like it's so unfair, because in that comparison, I'm quite privileged, right? When referring to one of the good ones, the reality is I'm one of the lucky ones, right? I'm lucky that my parents were able to afford to send me to Australia. I'm lucky that they paid for everything from my education, to my rent, to my food, which was the highest expense. This is how much this country changed me. Like, I may have been raised in Colombo, but this part is Aussie. Do you know what I mean? When I got to the country, people told me that Australia will grow on you. I didn't think it'd be literal, right? I basically traded in my six-pack for a goon bag. That's what happened there. I like how some of you went with it, but some of you are like, dude. I want to look away, but I can't. And some of you are like, I don't think he's ever had a six-pack. No, I've never had a six-pack, no. But going back to this guy making this comparison, right, it felt really uncomfortable. Because I am privileged in that situation, right? But some people do have that mentality of, no, Dil, you've done the right thing. You've come here legally. You've done all the right things. But these other people, they're selfish. They come over here. We can barely fucking understand what they're saying. They come here. They're jumping queues because they think their problems are worse than everyone else's. Yeah, they're heaps worse than mine. I'm never going to complain about a refugee getting ahead of me. That would be like me having a cough and getting upset because I was at the doctor's waiting room with this cough, sitting there patiently when some selfish prick who's allergic to peanuts has eaten a fucking Snickers bar or some shit, just comes running in front of me. I'm like, hey, it's a fucking queue back here, man. Get back in line. We all have problems, buddy. What's your problem? What? I've got a cough. What's wrong with you? Your throat's closed? I can't understand a fucking word he's saying. Just get back in line.